Afternoon. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning. How are we this morning, Leganzi?
Doing pretty good about yourself. Always a pleasure to have you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us.
You bet. You bet.
All right, so it looks like we're going to probably have some good stuff to talk about, state of the city, and of course, other updates.
Yeah, I tell you, I just was blown away by the community support of the state of the city last week. And, it was, I was very honored and blessed that there were over 600 people attended the event. And that's exciting to me, Leganzi, from the standpoint that people feel there's a sense of, people want to work together. People are excited about the direction of where the community is going. And I think that was in reference to
Right. Well, absolutely. Well, we're going to get ready to get started in about less than 30 seconds. So,
okay.
We already got the stream starting and the recording. So we'll be going live with the radio in just a moment. All sides of the issues. Views expressed in this program are those of the participant, not necessarily reflect the views of KMUK 102.5 FM. KLK 102.5 FM. Good morning to you on your Wednesday. It's March 15th, 2023. This is Community Conversations. Kevin Winter is in the studio with you, and I am joined by, as always, on the third Wednesday of the month, Jonesboro Mayor Harold Copenhaver. And as I was just mentioning earlier before we went live, so thankful that he is taking time out of his busy schedule to keep the citizens of Jonesboro informed of all that's going on. So we're not going to waste any time. I want to get right into it. Let's get right into the state of the city. The state of the city address was recently I think last Wednesday on the 8th. And so for those that were not able to attend, just kind of highlight some of the things that you talked about that are exciting and important for the citizens of Jonesboro to know about.
Well, first of all, Gansey, thank you for the opportunity for me to be here this morning. And I think it's very important that we reach as many people as we can. And I think the state of the city showed that there are a lot of people that are passionate in the city of Jonesboro about what goes on. And it's a new synergy, it's a new vibe. And we had over 600 people in attendance, which is by far the largest event that we've ever had. And hopefully we were able to provide the passion that we have. And I think the one thing that I wanted to stress to people at the State of the City address was things that we have accomplished and then things that we're moving forward to all work together. And it can't be done without partnership. So, I started out with initially talking about quality of life and what quality of life means with one person. It could mean quality of place with others. And I think that it's important that I think we all have our own interpretation of what quality of life is. And mine was quality of Jonesboro. That's what it means to me. And so we have so many different qualities in the city of Jonesboro that we want to create new opportunities and provide a better Jonesboro for everybody. So that was my focus on that. And, each household, they have different priorities from what's important to somebody maybe just getting to work on time. Others might be, what do you have to provide in the community for my entertainment? Other is safety, just a good neighborhood. So all these amenities we can't forget. And I wanted to say again, thank you to all the 600 plus employees that we have that work for the city. They provide services to the citizens. And as a result of their hard work, that's the reason we have such a thriving community. And so, we had a lot of statistics that we were showing early on, but I wanted to speak to those that were in the office in the meeting about a lot of things that we were doing. And I think Jonesboro is a product that is other communities would like to be like Jonesboro. We continue to grow, even through the COVID situation and other type things. Jonesboro continued to grow, but one of the reasons we continue to grow is because we talk about safety. and our investment in the safety. And so my conversation early last year, began with Rick Elliott and Assistant Chief Waterworth on the genesis of a program for a real-time crime center. And as I expressed to everybody there, the real-time crime center, as we are building on that, the foundation of that has been set. We accessed over 1,100 cases last year with our camera systems. And so that's really important because it provides safety for the community in all areas of the community. So technology is really key. We already have 600 cameras in our community at different locations throughout the city in key areas. And so, I'm going to continue investing in that. And that's really key to help solve crime and to add other things. It educates us as well with our camera systems on accident scenes. We can identify parts in our community for traffic flow where tendencies are. I even showed a few videos that provided examples of what we saw at a crime accident, or then we saw at an accident, or we just saw individuals acting up. So, it can be used in different ways. And so as we do that, this is a model. The Real-Time Crime Center facility is one of my goals in this coming year, to help start and find the funding for a real-time crime facility. And mind everybody, this is a Northeast Arkansas situation. We already are helping Truman and Lake City, Bono, Bay, Brooklyn as well. So it's a collaborative effort. So I want to say thank you as well, while I've got you here, to our banks in the community. I presented this to them mid-year last year, and their buy-in from the standpoint of what it provided to the community was outstanding. And so they have stepped up to the plate and offered, at this point, I've got commitments up to $500,000, $500,000 for the next 5 years. It's phenomenal, and it's going to continue to go. And so, again, community partners, and Legansy, that's what I talked about throughout the speech is, it's important, but to provide this is also expensive. And so I talked about our firefighters a lot of times. I brought them to the forefront from the standpoint of, they're usually the first ones at the scene of a crime, of an accident or an emergency. And so they're there all the time. So you can't always assume that it's in a fire when you hear a fire truck. It could be a medical issue, or even a weather event, or a train derailment. So, we are at the top level when it comes to this type safety and the fundamentals of what we're doing. So that's a quality of Jonesboro. Another issue that I touched on we did last year was bringing a partner with Ritter Communications to broadband and internet service to all of our city. And so with this partnership, Ritter is now investing upwards of $45 million of a total package of about $60 million. And with that partnership, I'm hoping that we can access the other $15 million for entire city build out, which will provide the opportunity for all of our families, youth, and businesses in our community to have the best broadband and internet service. This day and age, there's no reason why we shouldn't have that. So that was a big partnership last year. I mean, you're talking $45 million. That's a huge investment. Customer service. We need that. Our city, our citizens need to have the best customer service when it comes to that. We also then moved in, and I addressed our master parks plan. It's the first one ever for our city parks. This is a wonderful way to engage and have public outreach on some of our most valuable assets. And so this master plan will provide us a roadmap then to the future. And I want our parks to be the best places for all of our citizens and citizens that come to our community to be able to visit. So we are investing. I asked City Council in my budget this past 3 months ago, and they did support it for an additional $6 million in our parks. And some of the investments will include a new swimming pool in North Jonesboro. And we're going to have many other additions. We're redoing, and hopefully we'll be able to reopen the new, I call it the new YMCA. So that's where I grew up years ago, but it's going to be a totally new outlay. And it's going to be a great avenue for the citizens on the south side of Jonesboro as well. So we've got to continue to develop, and we have to have the plan and direction in place that we understand where we all are. If we got a few more minutes, I'll keep going because
well, yes, sir. But before we go into the next point, just kind of wanted to backtrack just a little bit because you talked about the real-time crime center, and of course, my question on that is, how is that going to help with the current crime situation? Obviously, it seems like on the news, there's like news of a new shooting, and that definitely has citizens concerned. So how will the real-time crime center and the other things that the city is planning with the Jonesboro Police Department help to get ahead of these kind of incidents?
Well, and I think you mentioned a very valid point. We've got to be proactive, right? And reactive is putting us backwards. And so with the real-time crime center, we've already solved last year's, the statistics are staggering what we were able to do. Listen, cameras don't lie. And so we're seeing it real time. But to your point, this is going to be a point of consideration that Chief Elliott and I have weekly conversations on how we're going to address this. And Chief and I are going to be making some statements in regards to whom and what, but let me assure you and the citizens of Jonesboro that by the use of cameras, we are seeing individuals from youth to those that we know in the community. We know who you are, and you're going to be seeing a major crackdown monthly on these individuals. And I'll address that at a later time, but you're going to see an impact, Leganzi, here with our police force. But a lot of it is attributed to our capability with cameras, seeing individuals and areas that we know that they are. So again, and I don't want to, there's a better way for me to say it from the standpoint, I want the community to understand that our numbers are no different than they were 10 years ago, but it's the reaction to what we see in social media and other things. But I'm very well aware, and I mentioned that in my speech, it's a safe community, if not one of the safest around, but it's how our perception of it is. And so that's what we're working on. And we're going to be addressing the individuals that are causing these problems. We know who they are. We're going to be addressing them. And it's key that when we do, though, we have enough and we're able to put them away. I think our system sometimes doesn't hold people accountable in ways that it needs to be. And so these are issues, too, that need to be addressed.
And of course, Mayor, I would just say that on the personal level, I feel safe as a citizen of Jonesboro. I don't feel like my life is in imminent danger. Of course, anything could happen on any day. But, I also do understand that with growth as explosive of Jonesboro, more people just automatically means more crime. It's just gonna happen. You take more human beings and you stick them in a space. Some of those are gonna be bad apples. It's life. Not much we can do about that. But I do appreciate the work that the city is doing to combat that. We're speaking with Jonesboro Mayor Harold Copenhaver on Community Conversations on KLK 102.5 FM. Kind of pivoting just slightly, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about pedestrian safety. Of course, that's another issue that people are concerned about, especially with the accidents that have happened on Johnson with people being hit. What is the latest with that?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, that's obviously been a topic of conversation over the last 3 or 4 months, but actually it's been over a long period of time. And Johnson Avenue, which is a state highway and controlled by the state of Arkansas, which is RDOT. And so really as a city road and infrastructure, that is not our responsibility. So when incidents occur, and our request since I became mayor initially has been to lower the speed limit. And so it used to be at 45. And mind you, in normal circumstances, RDOT does not particularly like to lower speed levels, but they did so with our request down to 35. But what we were seeing was the lack of understanding that it had been lowered to 35, so we still had speeding. Then we had vehicles, obviously, people are on their cell phones, they're distracted and they're driving. And it is a nice thoroughfare that we want to maintain, but we've got to do it in a safe way. And unfortunately, we had a pedestrian or two, and one was a fatality. And that's very upsetting to the community and what occurred. And so I immediately went to RDOT and asked for what we have called a hawk system. Now, this is very rare in the state of Arkansas to have one implemented, but I pressed them very hard, matter of fact. And so they're going to allow us to put a hawk lighting system in for pedestrians, basically around the State Street and Johnson area. This will be a yellow flashing light that will encompass the entire length or crossways of the street that will eventually turn red. So it will stop traffic for pedestrians crossing. But on the other hand, pedestrians need to use that part. And so just crossing across the street at different areas and things like that, everybody has to be a partner in this. Pedestrians need to utilize the services that are going to be provided. Car traffic, they're going to be responsible for their speed. And I think you've probably heard that we basically have a zero tolerance now on Johnson. We've cracked down immediately on speeding. And I think you've noticed, I've noticed in particularly the slowdown of traffic. But again, drivers need to get off their cell phones when they're driving because there are pedestrians in our community and they have just as much right to a road. But we all have to be using our resources to the best. So we've got the signs. We will be putting in a hawk light system, and I will be asking for another hawk light system in North Jonesboro at Parker Park when we access and build our pool, because we're going to have a lot of youth. They're going to be utilizing 141 as they cross that road as well, which is, again, another state highway. So that's an expenditure that'll be on our behalf.
And speaking of youth, let's talk just briefly about the Mayor's Youth Advancement Council. They have an event April 8th in which KLEK will be a part of it. They are going to be at University Lions Park. They are doing a community fair. KLEK, we're going to be broadcasting live there. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, I'm so proud of them. You know, this is really the second full year of the Mayor's Youth Council, and boy, they have really gotten actively involved. They did a tremendous event at Project Care. They partnered with Project Care, and these youth saw individuals throughout our entire region that are under served and might have some disabilities of some form or fashion, but the opportunity for them to have an employment was key. And so they were really actively involved in this. And I challenged them to come up with new things for our community and what's important to them. And so this project fair is very important for the community. It engages them with our community, and our youth need to be engaged in our community, because once you set that foundation, hopefully their entire life they'll be engaged with our community. And I think we've missed a product there. Our youth are our future. And how do we engage them? And I implore any business owner, any industrial partner, any educator to always challenge our youth and have them think outside the box. So again, I'm really proud of what they're doing, and it's a partnership. Again, you're partnering with them and assisting them in this, and so they're learning about what you do, Legansy, and the services that you provide through your station and our community.
And we're certainly am looking forward to being a part of the event coming up. All right, so Mayor, kind of getting back to the state of the city, and want to make sure that we got an opportunity for you to let the citizens know of every pertinent thing. So, were there any other topics along those lines that you want to bring up?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with how we're going to be addressing our future, and in particularly, again, I go back to partnerships and quality of Jonesboro. You know, Arkansas State University obviously is an area that we need to work together on and really grow that relationship. And so we've done so. And so the university is now committed $900,000 in what I'm calling a flyover, which is connecting downtown Jonesboro to Arkansas State University over our railroad tracks at the end of Creth, which we're starting the process of building that infrastructure, walkway and pedestrian walkway to connect our university, and then how we're moving forward on other things. The one big thing that I think our community really truly doesn't understand but goes on is how do we upgrade our infrastructure? And to be honest with you, the city of Jonesboro does not receive the tax revenues that many cities our size in the state of Arkansas receive. Our taxes are not as high. And so in doing that, we have to rely on our partnerships. And so when we work with RDOT, which is the Arkansas Transportation Department, their state highways in Jonesboro, we partner with them. So we provide 10% or 20% of the project. And so over the next 3 to 5 years, we just had a groundbreaking that'll be an Eastern bypass. That's going to be about a 3-year project, but they're going to do all the phases together, which instead of being a 9-year project, it's going to be 3 years. So I'm really proud.
Now, the Eastern bypass, that's the MLK extension, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
So the ground has broken on that.
That's right. That's right. And they're going, they've got the easements, they're moving forward, and in 1,000 days, hopefully we'll have an Eastern bypass. So that's a 3 years, but that's significant because it could have been 9 years. And so we were able to work together in order to get that done. The other thing.
And that's important. And that's important because I know, especially when everything went down with that, the renaming of Commerce, and with the promise that that extension would be that. And then, of course, after that, there was kind of like a lull, and people were thinking, well, you know, are the city and state going to keep their promise to build this? So I'm definitely happy to see that coming to fruition.
No, and that's really that's a game changer from the point of view when it comes to our industrial partners and the safety of our city. So that's going to transfer a lot of the heavy traffic over to, it'll go down to MLK over to 555, and then they'll interstate there. They'll connect that way. So from Brooklyn over to 555, and then we're doing expansion projects on 351, basically the first 2 miles that you'll see at Hilltop, and that'll widen that road, and it'll also have a pedestrian corridor. We're going to redo that intersection. We're putting in an overpass at Airport Road over the railroad track, and then eventually.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that was going to be my next question, because I live off of that road. I'm actually kind of curious of how they're actually going to do that and route the traffic, especially with those 2 train tracks being so far apart, and then also the one on G Street. So I'm actually curious on how those overpasses are going to come together.
Yeah, the first of which will be on the, as I would say, Legansy, the north one on Airport Road. As it goes north, that'll be the first overpass. And then what you'll see from that overpass is the possibility of a roundabout after the overpass as you're going north. And then there will be a direct road to your west, or if you would take a left from the airport, that will take you directly to Arkansas State University. So it'll bypass Aggie Road. Okay, so when you come out of the airport, you're going to go over the overpass. You'll make a left through the roundabout and go into Arkansas State University's campus. So more of a direct route through that way. We're going to be seeing upgrades on Parker Road as well on Southwest Drive. So these are projects that are all starting within the next 3.5 years, and there's others as well. Now, some that I want to bring before our time runs out, I've got a raise grant application in, and this is really big for the community, period. This is how we move forward, and it's partnering with both counties, Greene and Craighead, and as well as the city of Paragould and Brooklyn. And what this does is provide us a unified trail system connecting all these areas. But more importantly, for Jonesboro, it's about $16 million of upgrades to where individuals can have transportation by walking or bicycling to work. And then it's a healthier lifestyle for our community. But in order for us to be able to compete with other communities, we've got to lead and set the tone by example. And that's what this grant will allow us to do. So the community, the way they can help, they can contact the city if they want to write a letter of support. We have them all here for our state legislators. And not state legislators, but our federal legislation, our congressmen and both senators, if they can send letters on their behalf on support of this project, this is really key for Jonesboro. So again, we're coming together as a region in order to hopefully facilitate this huge raise grant, which is an ask of about $25 million. That's a big deal. And so again, it's about coming together. There was, before we get off, I did want to discuss a few things.
Okay.
Let me look through my notes here because I don't want to miss them. They're very important.
We'll take your time, Mayor. Like I said, we'll give you all the time that you need.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Well, we, as you know, Legansy, we really invested and upgraded our 911 system in the city of Jonesboro and all the calls that they take. And I must say that we're always looking at ways to better assist the community. And so with the United Way, they partnered with a 211 system, 211. And it's much like the 911, but it provides services that are not emergency immediately. It provides services for those that might need shelter or getting past a drug addiction, fear of eviction. And there's many other things that this provides. So if individuals need concerns from those that a few that I mentioned, they can call 211 and they have a list of organizations that can help and assist individuals that need this. Thus, that frees up our 911 capabilities, and it allows us then to be able to do those things that they need to provide. Let me see here. I did want to talk about projects that we're looking forward to doing in the next year. And I told everybody there that I hope that we're able to come back and visit on some things that we're going to be addressing in the city of Jonesboro. Let me find a few of those notes here.
All right. While you're doing that, we're once again speaking with Mayor Harold Copenhaver of the city of Jonesboro. Of course, if you have a question or a comment for Mayor Copenhaver, you can leave them on the comments in our Facebook Live feed.
Okay, so I think it's important, Legansy, too, that we continue. Jonesboro's an amazing place, and we continue to grow, and that's a thank you to all the residents, because what I hear from people that come outside our community, they're very complimentary of the city of Jonesboro, and that sets me back because I think our community sometimes we take for granted of what we provide, services, how clean the community is. I don't get those phone calls anymore that I got when I first got in office. We have changed the environment of beautification in our community, and we're going to continue to strive that. But because of our balanced budget, and I set that in play 2 years ago, it was very important that we understand where our expenditures are going. You don't want to spend too much because then you're not balanced anymore. So it's always key that we do that. But I think we're going to be able to talk, and I'm going to present an ask to City Council to be able to provide things next year. I know that we have a sports complex. I want to see that coming out of the ground. Okay, that's a big economic impact to our community. Pedestrian connection to downtown from Arkansas State University, a real-time crime center facility. So it'll be a standalone building that will be able to house our 911, be able to take care of all of our needs when it comes to that type of technology. You know, we need to continue our events that we have, like Joy Fest, Barbecue Fest, Green Fest, Local Fest, Spring Fest, Foodie Fest, Christmas at the Park, and other events. I mean, Jonesboro's always got something going on. And then I'm very excited about the possibility of a park in Northeast Jonesboro. It's needed for all the citizens in that area of the city. So hopefully that will be able to come to fruition. And then I've got to ensure infrastructure. So we're looking at another fire station because our infrastructure is important, but I need fire stations to where they can get to response times on time. And so, again, we've got a lot going on. I'm going to tell you, what's coming down the road, though, is really amazing. And it's important that the citizens know that we love what we're doing here. We listen to their concerns. If they have any opinions and ideas, I always challenge my employees. Don't come to me with a concern. Come to me with a solution for your concern, because it's really important that I hear that. I don't hear everything that goes on. And a lot of times when citizens come up and they express their concerns or they have an idea on how to solve something, then we can work through that. And that's what takes Jonesboro to the next level. So thank you for your time this morning, Legansy.
And absolutely. And of course, thank you for all you do. And look forward to having you as part of our Juneteenth celebration. I'd asked Tony to contact you about being in our parade. Hopefully he got with you on that. And
you bet.
So, of course, riding in the mayoral vehicle. And of course, you will be, as last year, doing the proclamation here at the studio on June 19th as well. So stay tuned to KLK for more information on the Juneteenth events. We've been speaking with Jonesboro Mayor Harold Copenhaver. And again, thank you so much for joining us today on Community Conversation. I'm going to let you get back to your busy schedule. And we're going to get back to this great gospel music that we have all day long. You guys have a great and blessed day. This is KLK on 2.5 FM. Have a good day, Mayor.
Goodbye.